All right, so welcome back. I want to share with you 6 things that you can do right away to increase the level of happiness that you're experiencing in your life. And the first thing that you can do right away to improve that happiness, to improve that energy, to improve your overall life and sense of well-being is, number 1, to live in a grateful presence. Now, we all know what the being in the present moment means, right? You know, one of the ways to know whether or not you're in this moment is to ask the question, am I here? Am I present? The moment you ask the question, you are here. It's the power of now type thing. So, are you in the present? Are you here? And that's the first key thing. But in addition to that, it's, are you grateful in this moment? Every moment that we have is a gift from our Creator. Every single moment. None of us know when we're going to pass away, when we're going to be gone from this life. And so it's a choice every moment. And it can be something small. You can start out with something small and simple and just be grateful that you can breathe. Or maybe you can look at the beautiful sunset, or you can look at the sky or the clouds or a tree. Whatever it is, just find something in your immediate presence that you can be grateful for. Now, the key is to cultivate this. You see, there's a part of our mind that always wants to jump into the past or jump into the future. It always is taking us away from the now. But if you really stop and think about it, can you feel gratitude 5 minutes from now or in the past? The reality is you can't. The only time you can feel gratitude, in fact, the only time you can feel that joy and that happiness is in this present moment. And so just feeling that energy, I mean, just talking about being in the present and talking about being grateful for this moment, it brings a huge smile to my face. And so if you can cultivate this, and it could be something as simple as when you wake up in the morning, before your feet hit the ground, just think of a few things that you're grateful for. And I know sometimes if you're not used to this, it might feel inauthentic, but the key is don't stop with your gratitude until you feel a shift within you. You feel that energy. So that's step number 1. Number 2 is your personal growth. You know, when I am growing and learning, I'm at my happiest point when I'm growing and learning. It's when I'm not learning, I'm not growing, or if I ever feel stuck, that I'm unhappy. So the key is, what can we do? What can you do to ensure that you're always growing, you're always in that state? You know, I have a goal of always be reading a book, have a program, always be learning. There's so much information out there. There's so much information on this website. And the key is to just get out there and have a commitment to continual growth. When I think about the great leaders, and I've been very blessed and fortunate to be with some of the most successful leaders in our country, I know that they are always growing. You've probably heard the saying that leaders are readers. They're always looking for the next seminar, the next book, the next breakthrough that they can have to take their own personal growth, their personal business, or whatever it is they're working on to a whole new level. So when I'm growing, I'm happy, and that's a commitment. Am I committed? And the question to ask, am I committed to my long-term growth? Am I committed to growing every single day? That's the question you want to be asking. If you can answer yes to that, awesome. You're on the right path. If the answer is no, or maybe I could be doing a little bit better, I wonder what would happen if you really dialed it in and felt that. I know for me, it made such a big difference. If I ever feel stuck, or if I ever feel like I'm not getting to where I want to be, just finding a good book around personal development or personal growth, or taking a course like the one you're doing now can immediately improve your overall level of happiness and sense of well-being. Let's go to step number 3. So with growth, there also comes a sense of wanting to give back or to contribute. And fundamentally, as I've worked with a lot of different people from all over the world, it's something that I hear often over and over and over is, Adam, I want to give back. Adam, I want to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. And often people have these huge ideas of, well, I'm going to change the world and I'm going to go out there and influence all these people. But I always say, look, start with where you're at. Start with smiling to a neighbor that maybe you don't normally smile at or say hi to. Or it could be something as simple as, when I think of contribution, I think about, it could be donating time, it could be donating money, it can be doing a lot of different things. There's a lot of big things that you can do, but I'd say watch the little things that you can do. Maybe spending time with somebody that's maybe having a rough day, or maybe you take dinner to a neighbor that maybe they struggled or they just got out of surgery. Those little things will add to your sense of contribution in a very powerful way. Look, I remember there were times in my life when I was serving and trying to get out there and help other people. And there would be times when I would notice the focus would come back on me, and I would think about my challenges and my problems, and things would start getting really big. And then I had to kind of put it back into perspective and realize it's a lot less about me and more about focusing and serving others. And it's so interesting when I shift the focus from me and the challenges that I'm having to, you know what, it's really about you, and it's about me serving you and helping others. All of a sudden, these problems that seemed huge become tiny. And all of a sudden, I'm able to deal with the challenges that I have through the service of others. So contribution is the key, number 3. Let's go to number 4. This is learning to associate wisely, or associative conditioning. You know, so often people in life unconsciously condition themselves for the wrong things. And they condition themselves, or they get in the habit of negativity. Just like positivity is a habit, negativity is a habit. We consistently think the same thoughts over and over. Remember, the average person thinks over 60,000 thoughts in a day. 95% of those thoughts, or 57,000 thoughts, are the exact same thoughts that you thought yesterday. You think about the power of that. That if we are not intentional, we live in this habitual machine. And yes, our state of being, our happiness, our wellness, in the words of Maxwell Maltz, from the guy who wrote Psycho-Cybernetics, over 30 million copies sold worldwide. He said, happiness is a habit of thought. And if that's true, we can also say negativity, or the lack of happiness, is also a habit of thought. So what are my habits? What associations am I making? Am I being intentional about my day? Am I being intentional about my mood? Am I choosing to smile, even if I don't feel like it, but just do it. Feel it. Create new associations, and things will begin to transform for you. Number 5, and this one is huge. There are so many people, as I start to talk to a lot of people one-on-one and really get into where they're at in their lives, probably the number one thing that prevents people from having a happy life or being in that state of happiness more consistently is that they are simply too hard on themselves. So a few questions to ask you is, do you enjoy being with yourself? Can you quiet the mind? And are you at peace with that? Are you okay with that? So many people, they're constantly distracting themselves. They can't be alone with themselves, so they always have to be with other people. And one of the reasons is they really don't like themselves. In fact, a lot of people are in a very negative space when it comes to the relationship they have with themselves. So the question to ask is, do you love yourself? And I know it's a very simple question, but if you were to ask that honestly to yourself, do you love yourself? If you could answer yes right away, oh, absolutely, I love myself. Well, that's fantastic. You're well on your way. If you hesitate at all, if you, I don't really know. Yeah, I think I love myself, or yeah, sort of, then there's probably some work to do there. And a lack of self-love, every limiting belief has its roots in self-image. Every single limiting belief has its roots in the way we see ourselves. If people would learn to truly love themselves at a deep level, really love themselves unconditionally, it would just be amazing how many issues, challenges, problems, negative energy would all disappear if you put yourself in that state of self-love. Now, often people that struggle with this will ask me, well, Adam, how do you do that? I mean, how do you really get into a space where you really do love yourself and you're in that energy of self-love? Well, number one is, I would ask, how do you learn to love someone else? You probably tell them, you probably do something about it, you serve them or do something, and you're probably pretty nice to them. And following that same pattern, you can learn to build a relationship with yourself. And the last thing, and I love this one, and this is something that a positive psychologist taught me. He said, if you want to learn to be happy, always have something to look forward to. Have something that you're excited about. And it might be something big like a vacation, or maybe you're starting a new business and you're excited about that. But it could be something as simple as, you know what? I'm choosing to be happy today. And you know what? That's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm excited about the mind that I'm creating and the conditioning that takes. So in review, be grateful in the present moment and just find that energy, that attitude of gratitude. Focus on your personal growth. Always be growing, learning, achieving more, doing more, whatever it is you've got to do, but grow. Always be growing. We are here to grow, and we are happiest when we are growing. 3, find a way to find meaningful contribution. So how are you contributing to others, to your fellow mankind? Maybe it's a smile. And again, it doesn't have to be the big things. Often the mind goes, I gotta do these massive things, but it's in the small and simple things that you do every day. Number 4 is associative conditioning. Are you associating positive energy with the right things, thereby creating the right mental state and attitudes, which leads to thoughts and behaviors that are in alignment with being more happy? 5 is one of the key ones, which is learning to truly love yourself. And finally, happiness is a habit of thought. Always have something to look forward to, something you're excited about, and that will help you condition that habit of happiness.